Peace and Blessings Collective. Welcome in. Immediate reminder to drink your water. This shifts, this transition on the other side of the 7-7 portal is beyond words. I am setting the explicit intention that this message and this live find everyone who feels called, even if they don't necessarily have the conscious understanding, to the 5D, into the fifth dimension. This message is for anyone who resonates with that, to give them an opportunity to be there, to know what it feels like so they can come back here. Welcome to all the 5D new humans. Four of Pentacles, literally leaving the fourth dimension. Like, this is the 4. The 4D is hanging on to what you have because you're fearful that it won't return. In the fifth dimension, it's coming back. There's no need to have this energy unless it's truly out of protection when you're traveling to other dimensions. And it's so crazy because of the intention that I just set to only call in people who feel called to the fifth dimension. I can feel that the energy that I'm about to express, because I am channeling, is going to be potentially like beyond what my ego would typically allow me to say out loud. But because I have gone through this experience of higher self ego integration, which is realer than I can put words to, because it's such a deep truth, a deep true experience, but it's an internal experience where I know that my entire internal landscape feels different. It feels airy, like there's a flow that did not exist in the fourth dimension. I am now able to receive messages, downloads, understandings, communication so much more clearly and act on it without the hesitation. Like, my ego is still there. My ego still has questions and it still is thinking, but it is no longer resisting. And that's what this like 4 of Pentacles energy is. It's the energy of resistance. It's like, no, I have what I have and I'm comfortable with what I have. And if I let go of what I have, what if I don't have any? That's not how it works. Like, you, in the 5D, you have everything you need the moment you need it. And this is strong, divine, feminine energy. And that is the energy of receiving. In the fifth dimension, you receive everything you desire without resistance, because there is no resistance within you. You don't resist your manifestations anymore. As soon as you know you desire something, it shows up for you, because there is no incongruence. There is no, oh, well, this would probably be best for me, but I really would actually rather do this self-destructive thing. That doesn't exist anymore, because even if you do have the desire to do the self-destructive thing, it's not self-destructive anymore, because you are in heart, mind, body, soul coherence. And it's just like, okay, well, this is what we're doing today, and we're just doing it because it's fun for us, because in the 5D, you have fun. And I know that Queen of Wands, Ace of Pentacles, 2 of Cups, literally, like, once you are able to step into this energy of instantaneous manifestation, Ace of Pentacles, immediately, every time, constantly, new Ace of Pentacles, constantly. And 2 of Cups, new connections, new genuine, authentic connections, because you are operating in your authenticity. When you show up in your truth, you meet other people in theirs, and you're able to hold each other in sacred communion, be sacred mirrors for each other, for the truth of each other, not for the ego of each other, even though that might be what is needed in that moment, needing to soothe the ego of another being, another person on this path, because the moon, their subconscious still hasn't fully integrated that this transition has been made. So now you're being called in to hold the light, anchor the light, be the lighthouse for them to find their way back, because they're oscillating between the fourth and fifth dimension. And it's such a real experience that we have been taught to see as like fictional, as entertainment. But that's the veil. They have been showing you your entire life, the life that you are able to live if you let go, but they made sure you had zero incentive to let go. It's a new paradigm now. We are able to let go, literally let go. And now, because when I first flipped those cards over, I immediately saw the card that is sitting behind me, because I have my handmade deck back here. I'm not gonna shuffle the whole deck. I'm just gonna show you the card that is here. So this deck is handmade by me, and I made it before I made this transition into the fifth dimension. And I have this card that says "Play where it's safe." Of course, my like that's, you know what, and that's fine, because we're getting deep here. When I wrote this card with every intention of, like, the phrase, the way we use it, and it's kind of like confrontational. It's like, play where it's safe. Like, it's not implying that it's not safe to play here if you're trying to play with me. But it doesn't even mean that to me anymore. Like, play where it's safe means play in the 5D. Like, play where it is literally safe. Like, the fourth dimension, you can have fun, but you end up tempting your ego into falling into self-destructive patterns. Chariot. This energy is giving me the energy of, like, the upper half of the fourth dimension, because I've been given, like, the visual of what it's like to transition through the dimensions. So it's like the fourth dimension has really three parts. There's, like, the beginning, the earlier part of the fourth dimension, which is the astral realm. If you're hearing a lot about the astral realm, that is a sign that you are making the transition into the fourth dimension. Once you get to that middle point of the fourth dimension, you now are at a point where it's like, okay, things aren't making sense to me anymore. I really need to make a transition, because the fourth dimension is not someplace you're supposed to stay. That's where you get caught in the self-help, the fixing, the healing. I need to change this. I need to do this. If I don't do this, then this is gonna this. That is fourth dimensional thinking, because now you've made it to the point of being the observer of your reality, but you're observing from an egoic perspective, thinking that you can figure out how to move through life. But you're really just supposed to keep moving in general, whatever it is, whatever you feel the highest excitement towards, you're supposed to make the moves toward that. But once you hit that halfway point, it really is a whirlwind spiral to ride straight up into the fifth dimension. But if you are resisting it, because it's weird. Like, it's not, but weird in like a just abnormal, quote unquote, because what you're used to being normal doesn't exist anymore. Like, and where it does exist, it feels like resistance. It's like, okay, I know I could actually be doing something else that would bring me so much more joy and might even bring joy to others, but I am uncomfortable. My ego is scared. Is what I'm experiencing even real? Six of Pentacles, generosity. Like, if you are able to start making moves towards your desires even before you have what you think you need to execute the thing, that's when this Six of Pentacles energy shows up in the 5D, the generosity. People, energies, beings, and like your spirit team, your higher self, your guides, your angels, dragons, all the things. They show up to give you what you need. It's the energy of receiving, literally the divine feminine energy. It is the energy of receiving, but you have to be open to receive and know that you are worthy of receiving innately. And even having to put words to being worthy, or knowing you can receive, or knowing you will be compensated. All of those things are very human ideas, because beyond the fifth dimension, it's not even a thought. There's no need for thought, because the intention is enough. As soon as you set the intention with a pure heart and heart, mind, body coherence, you receive it, because there's no incongruence. There's nothing to say, well, they just said that, but on the inside, we can feel that they're not ready for it. We don't have that experience anymore, because we're operating in our truth. It's to the point where everything comes in rapidly. Knight of Swords, like, things are like, it just follows you, because now once you make it to the fifth dimension, it's literally like making it to the edge of what makes sense, and then just continuing to go forward anyway, because whatever is on the other side is abundance. Like, it's the abundant unknown. You get to continue to take steps toward whatever brings you joy, and be rewarded with seeing that you made the right decision after you've made the decision. You will not get the clarity until you make the move. Clarity comes after action in the fifth dimension. Page of Wands. Like, this is an innocent way of manifesting. Like, you have to try new things. You have to allow yourself to be new, because as soon as you try to go back or resist, that's when you you feel the resistance, like you feel resistance in your energy. And this Ace of Swords, like the thinking changes because eventually you do stop I have not gotten to the point yet where my ego stops questioning anything, but I have gotten to the point where there is no more resistance. But but the questions are still there, which sometimes does delay the movement of the physical body because the ego, wants like, okay, well, we can do this, but let's think about it a little bit just because we can. Um, there was something there was like a stream that wanted to come through just then so when it comes to making choices, throat chakra blockage, I can feel like that. And that's the thing. Your body is like your tool of divination. Like your soul coded your vessel to be able to send you signals so that you can know what is happening in the non-physical plane. So right now, like my sinus, and this is not the first time this has happened, but this is a more recent development physically for me, which is something that's literally why a lot of people get caught and stuck in the 4D, is because the changes from living in the 4D realm to going into the 5th dimension, there's physical changes. So a lot of people who are not in tune with their bodies and knowing that your body is literally just trying to tell you things when it does weird stuff that doesn't necessarily feel good or might feel like what you used to associate with some sort of ailment. Like, if you truly have no idea what's going on and you need to seek medical professional help, do that. But if you are in tune with your higher self and you can check in and be like, hey, it's like, what's going on? As simple as that. And then let whatever comes in resonate and trust it, because like right now, my sinuses, like I felt a buildup of mucus, whatever it is, in my sinuses, but I knew that was like, and it was on its way draining into my throat. That was a throat chakra blockage because I was about to say something that the powers that would like to see us held back may not want me to say, but I don't give a damn. But in the 5D, the choices that we make, we no longer like have to go back and forth on them, because as you ascend the dimensions, there is no more negativity. Like there's no polarity, put it that way. There's no good or bad. It just is. There's no more karma. There's no more anything. Like there, you make the decision and you release the outcome. But because you have ascended and you've done the internal work to get into this level of coherence, the choices you make are already aligned with your higher self, because that's part of the transition, is ego and higher self integration. So now whatever choices you are making, they're part of your soul contract, meaning you're doing exactly what you came to earth to do. So there is no karma. Like you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, quote unquote, because that's the way the ego needs to see it in order for you to feel comfortable. It's like, well, was I supposed to do that? Yes. If you did it, you were supposed to do it, and trust that, period. Like full stop. Lovers on the bottom of the deck. Didn't even notice that. So this is another personal experience, and I'm grateful that like my guides are like encouraging me to share from my own perspective, especially when I use the tarot. Like that's all, I won't say that's all I have to pull off of, but when it comes to giving examples, the examples typically come from my personal experience. But what I am currently experiencing in my inner landscape, my inner mental landscape, I guess, because that's where where there used to be thinking is now room for external communication, even though it's not really external because we're all one, and what divine, what all the unity, all the things, like it's non-dual, but because we still are in this physical plane, excuse me, it's easier to explain the thing as duality. So it's like external communication. But the communication that I realized that I was now receiving, because there was a point in time where I really felt that I was connecting with my counterpart telepathically. And now that I've made the transition into the 5th dimension, I realized that it wasn't my counterpart, but that my counterpart was actually just the masculine higher expression of my higher self. Like, because we all have masculine and feminine, divine masculine and divine feminine energy within us. Like I am now able to differentiate and have my feminine and masculine communicate within myself. Like, that's the experience I'm having now. So there's no, it's like the love that I feel that would come from this type of partnership is now occurring within myself. Like, literally hearing my masculine comfort and hold my feminine so that she's able to receive, but happening from within. That's what they mean. Like, when people say that, like, you have to love yourself first in the 3D, that's like, okay, fine, I have to like how I look and do all these things. It's beyond that. You literally integrate the masculine and feminine within yourself, and you are able to have that sensual masculine feminine connection internally. And now you're no longer reliant on an external expression to give that to you, but you know how it feels to have it. So when it comes into your reality, and you'll be able to know that this being is actually fulfilling you, or actually like meant to be on your path, because you now know exactly what it feels like to be in divine union with your counterpart, because you've done it on the well, because I was gonna say like the inside was the micro scale, but that's the macro. Actually, the micro is the human interaction. Like, you are a reflection of the universe itself. So like the polarity and the union of the divine masculine and divine feminine within is more akin to divine masculine, divine feminine union as a whole universally than it is to the human interaction. Because the human interaction, like, you're still interacting in the 3D, which means there is still some level of three-dimensional limitation if you allow it to be. Like, if you are in a partnership where you cannot ascend, travel, shift dimensionally together. But that's 5D partnership, is both parties being at a place where they can travel non-corporeally without physical vessels together, because they're in coherence, they're vibrating at the same frequency, so they can move together outside of the body. And that, like, allow yourself to sit with that if that is jarring, because I know for me, like, maybe, well, because I have intentionally been allowing myself to be open, 9 of Pentacles, like allowing myself to follow the breadcrumbs, the sun, literally. I am happily integrating all this wild ass shit that is showing up as downloads of pure resonance and confirmation within my inner landscape, because it doesn't quote unquote make sense for what I've experienced, but I know that I'm not meant to understand. And as soon as I receive something that I don't understand, trust and believe that you are going to be shown the thing that you need to see that is going to make it click for you, because it's a new experience. You have to have the experience in order for you to understand the experience. And that's where I am right now. And the experience, it's personal. Like, there are things that are so personal that you can't deny them. And that's it. Like, every time, like, any doubt, worry, fear that you have within you came from the outside. Like, you weren't born doubting yourself. And that's intentional, but you have to get back to that point of no longer doubting that, even if it sounds nuts, crazy, ridiculous, outlandish, whatever it is. So, like, if it resonates as true for you and it feels good to you and resisting it hurts, stop resisting. Like, you're literally hurting yourself. Like, no need for that. I think, well, first of all, I know that I am very warm right now, which I think that I keep saying I think, because I notice that a lot now when I say that I think, because it's beyond thinking. Like, if I have the desire to say it, then it is truth, which what I was going to say is I'm very warm right now. And that is, if you are having, like, it, yes, it's hot outside, but this is a different type of warm. Like, it's, it almost kind of feels like I'm coated in heat, because my internal can be cold, but my external will be hot. Ascension symptoms is basically what I'm trying to say here. We have miracles on the bottom of the deck. I am going to get us a sacred geometry activation here. That is another thing that's like reawakened in me, because I've had this sacred geometry activations oracle probably for 2 years, and I worked with it a little bit when I first got it, but it was just like, okay. But now it's like a whole new, it feels new to me. Like sacred geometry feels new, because as you expand, so does the sacred geometry around you, if that makes sense. So like if you were thinking of like the flower of life, which is the circles overlaid on each other. Is this the flower? Yeah, this actually is the flower of life in the throat chakra here. Hopefully you can see that. But that is the dimensional shift, is the continued expansion of the flower of life. Like it just keeps going out infinitely, and you get to decide, do I stay here in this little center point, or do I continue to allow my conscious, because this center point is your human vessel, but your consciousness expands. I'm just going to read this because it's throat chakra number 5. The frequency of the throat chakra, the blue flower of life, supports our self-expression and our sense of peace and balance. I'm going to keep that out, actually. Okay. I'm just going to take these two, and I'm going to put the deck down, actually. Yeah, because we got transition, and that came out, excuse me, confirmation verb, excuse me, on 7/7. The transition, because that was the shift, like literally transition and change. If you are interested in that live or that video, because I do post my lives on YouTube, it's the same name that it is here, Source Speaks, She Listens on YouTube. I do post my lives there afterward, but that was a very powerful message of literally change and transition on 7/7, because that, if you need to, like for your human, mark your calendar as 7/7, even though it was in the past, mark that date as the day everything changed, because literally. Okay, so, I didn't even read the other ones. So we have perception, which is number 35, which says, the frequency of perception supports our natural curiosity, moving us beyond our comfort zone to find the edges of what we perceive as real and to take a good, hard, deep look at it. If that ain't what I was just saying. And then we have solar plexus, which is number 3. The frequency of solar plexus chakra, the yellow flower of life, supports our sense of self, our power, our personal power, and our willpower, as well as our knowing of who we are and what our contribution is to the whole. Very timely, if I do say so myself, but let's get into the book. Yeah, throat chakra. The frequency of the throat chakra, the blue flower of life, supports our self-expression and our sense of peace and balance. The flower of life is a geometric shape recognized by many cultures all over the planet. It consists of 13 equal circles that intersect at the middle of each circle, creating a perfectly proportioned flower. As a symbol, the flower of life represents the universe as a whole, as well as the harmony in which all the separate components of the universe work together. This beautiful pattern is often used to indicate our understanding of our connection as humans and as spiritual beings to the whole. The color blue is associated with the 5th or throat chakra, located in the area of the neck. It is linked to communication and our ability to express our needs and desires. Blue is cooling, and the crazy thing is, I physically noticed as I was reading my body cooling off, because I just said how hot I was. Literally, my body just cooled off. Blue is cooling, a mentally relaxing color, and it pacifies the nervous system. It connects us to holistic thought, it generates wisdom, and it supports our communication and speech skills. Blue is considered the color of truth. Its sense is hearing. The throat chakra's sense is hearing. Where you feel the need to express is also where you need to listen. Try this. Think for a moment about the last time you really expressed a deep truth to someone. How did it feel to be completely honest and authentic in your expression? Are you always able to express yourself that way? If not, what holds you back? literally me being here on live and expressing my truth. Like, that's the thing. It's once you make the transition, there's no more resistance to expressing your truth because you don't have anything to hide, because everyone is being their true and authentic self, which makes you feel comfortable to do so, which you should be, because you are, well, I did put it back, because you are playing where it's safe. Literally, you get to play because you are safe in the fifth dimension. You can have fun. Released the fear, worry, doubt. It's unnecessary here. It didn't make it to this timeline. 35. Perception. The frequency of perception supports our natural curiosity, moving us beyond our comfort zone to find the edge of what we perceive as real and to take a good, hard, deep look at it. Perception can be described as the interperception of that which has entered into our awareness. Oh, pardon me. Interpretation, not interperception. Starting over. Perception can be described as the interpretation of that which has entered into our awareness. Upon first glance, the perception activation presents what seems to be chaos in motion. But when we take a better look, we find perfect alignment and synchronicity between the different aspects. We find balance and harmony. The sharp blades of clear perception cut through the layers of illusion that cover the space between the world of spirit and the world of matter. Together, the blades are neither round nor square, indicating that they are effective in both worlds. Conceptually, circles stand for everything and nothing at all, balance and infinity, purity and freedom. Within this image, they also represent our connection to a larger universe and the many planets that revolve around the realities that exist beyond our own. We think we have a clear perception of the reality that lies behind the blades, but we discover that the waters of our emotional and physical world are mirrored perfectly by the sky, our spiritual nature. They are exactly the same, as above, so below. The square border represents the form-based reality of our earth-bound life, while the lights on the corners remind us of our ability to... I'm just going to put it back up. While the lights on the corners remind us of our ability to reach far beyond these illusionary three-dimensional boundaries at any time we choose. When combined with awareness, skill, and precision, these perception blades can cut through illusions that otherwise keep us locked in place. This is literally like a 5D activation. I'm not gonna lie. Our consciousness determines our perception, and there is no absolute truth in what we perceive. There are always more layers to uncover, more insights to be revealed. The blades of clarity cut through illusion and expand our perception of reality, revealing a path toward harmony and peace in our inner world and in the world around us. The dark border around the edge indicates the vast and deep universe that oftentimes seems mysterious and dark. The blues indicate the clarity of expression that is needed to cut through the illusions of our perceived reality. The red edges indicate our solid foundation in the physical world while in body here on earth. The yellows and golds indicate the inner power that is needed to create a reality that matches our perception of our inner and outer worlds combined. Try this. Close your eyes and think about where the edges of your comfort zone lie. Comfort zones, plural, lie. Excuse me. Interesting. The fact that I got confirmation when I realized that zones was plural, like having multiple comfort zones, which that makes sense. But I guess in the lower perceptions of reality, like we just call it a comfort zone because we think of it as just the zone that we feel comfortable in humanly. But there are, like, you feel different levels of comfort in different places. So, like, your comfort zones. I feel like that's a download that'll show up deeper later. Are you willing to try something new, or do you prefer to stay in your familiar routines? When is the last time you did something completely out of your comfort zone? Go inside yourself and witness how your perception of reality can change by just changing your point of focus from the outer to the inner. All right, and then we have solar plexus, number 3. The frequency of the solar plexus chakra, the yellow flower of life, supports our sense of self, our personal power, and our willpower, as well as our knowing of who we are and what our contribution is to the whole. The flower of life is a geometric shape recognized by many cultures all over the planet. Let's see, because we know we just read about this beautiful pattern, often used to indicate our understanding of our connection as humans and as spiritual beings in the whole. The color yellow is associated with the third or solar plexus chakra. It is located in the area of the diaphragm, below the breastbone, and linked to our sense of self, our authority, and our personal power. It is the area of our personality and our ego. Yellow helps us to think clearly, increase our awareness, and stimulate our curiosity. It strengthens our vitality, our life force, and our energy. Its sense is sight. Interesting. That's interesting that the solar plexus sense is the eyes, because there is like a third eye, but that's inner sight. So the solar plexus would be external sight. Try this. Go inside yourself for a moment and think about what is important in your life. Do you spend your days doing what you love? Do you feel satisfied? Do you feel you are an important part of this big puzzle we call life? Most of us have that one thing that we love doing and are really good at. What is your one thing? I'm going to leave y'all there to ponder that, because that's what it means to be in the fifth dimension, is to be doing that thing instead. Like, that's the thing to do when you're trying. I won't say trying, not because that's because everything in the fifth, if you do it, you've done it. There's no more try. You just do it. But that's your calling. That's your job in the 5D. That one thing, whatever that was, that's your job now in the fifth dimension. So let that integrate. Do what you need to do to get there. But the collective needs you to do whatever that thing is. That's why you're so good at that thing. But on that note, I am going to love and leave y'all here. Thank you for interacting. Thank you for all the likes, comments, any gifts. But yes, I am wishing you an abundant ascension, and I'll see y'all in the next live. Peace.